Such experiences are critical for healthy brain development and essential skills. The statistics show that children in foster care have higher rates of physical development and mental health concerns and delays. So, by here, meaning that about 7,000 foster care adolescents are drinking, about 5,000 are in opioids, and about 550 are in stimulants. So that is some of the highest populations that we have here in in the in the adolescent drug intake. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about mental health. Mental health is a huge part of foster care. Many, 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 many foster care students, it's not students, many foster care kids are affected by so many ways with PTSD. They have anxiety, they have just mental disorders that not any other kid would have. Yes, many kids would in the regular house with a mom and dad would suffer from PTSD or anxiety or even depression. But the majority of those adolescents that are seen in foster care are diagnosed with a mental disorder. So, emotional problems are developmental outcomes arising from succeeding transactions between the child and the environment. So, being among foster care, studies find high rates for most diagnoses, and the most prevalent of which is PTSD. This says that PTSD is one of the most diagnosed disorders in foster care kids. Ranges from 21% to 55%. And being from anxiety disorder, this is between 9% to 20% of the kids in foster care. So mental health issues that are evident among foster care vast and are varied. As I said already, anxiety, trauma, stress, and depression. Depression are just few of them. Few of the mental disorders that many of them can come across with. Anxiety disorders are the most commonly diagnosed disorder in both adults and adolescents population. PTSD was the most common diagnosed according at the rates for those in general population, including welfare. So being the PTSD would be 21 to 55 compared to the anxiety would be 9 to 20. This is just, there is a huge difference between them. Anxiety and PTSD is just one of the few ones. So anxiety is mostly seen in infants, when even if we thought that infants they don't have anxiety, which most of them don't, but they do, as infants fear strangers, loud noises, and unexpected objects. Now, young children fear separation from their parents, animals, the dark, kidnappers, robbers, ghosts, and monsters. So just imagine if a young child was being taken from his parent, and that builds a huge anxiety. Like, it builds a wall for them, so that's where they start being anxious. Now, older children fear bodily injuries, death, and failure. Now, prepubescent children and adolescents have fear related to social compression, physical appearance, personal conduct, and tests. So now that the anxious child is in foster care placement, reoccurrence to personal threats over inventing negative responses from the environment, which is leading to other places, and it just builds a whole wall of anxiety and it doesn't let them get over it. Now, and mental health disorder it's just one of the main causes, one of the main things that can happen and affect a child's development. So, youth in foster care are highly traumatized, and the ongoing impact of trauma may be practically problematic for those young people, giving the abrupt transaction of independence, like the student, the foster care kids are just, they face so many mental health illnesses, like mood disorders. Mood disorders is just, it's a huge one.